Hi there, I'm Budda and you're watching Dr. Guitar, a show for all you guitarists out there. In today's episode, I'm pairing another two of my amps, the Blues Junior and the Pro Junior. Two Fender amps, two Fender small amps, two Fender 15-watt amps, two Fender EL84 amps. But the Pro Junior has a 10-inch speaker, the stock one, and the Blues Junior has a 12-inch speaker, which I swapped. So it is a Warehouse Speakers ET65, which is a very bassy and trebly speaker, so I'm a little scooped in the mid-range. The Pro Junior is very mid-rangey. They sound great together. In the intro, I was using a lot of pedals to make it a little more stereo, especially the slow Leslie setting on my Line 6 M5. I was using a little reverb, one repeat from the DL4, the Line 6 DL4, the Gem Pedals Retro Vibe for a vibe, the Beatronics Octafuzz for an Octafuzz, and then the Prince of Tone just to tame the brightness of the Beatronics. And I was jamming around, but what was making it be stereo was the slow Leslie. So let's listen to the slow Leslie. And also a thing that is making it be stereo is the reverb on the Blues Junior. So I always have the reverb on, so you have the reverb on this side. So you're listening to the Blues Junior on your left side, the Pro Junior on your right side, okay? Here, the reverb tail just going to the right side. So it makes, the Pro Junior is giving me the direct sound and the Blues Junior is giving me a little wetter and a little longer sound. So with the full tone catalyst. Let's turn off the reverb on the Blues Junior. Reverb again on. It's immediately more stereo, immediately. So I really like this setting. If you have been following the show, you know I like to pair amps with different speaker sizes. So this one really appeals to me. The 12-inch being very bright and bassy, the 10-inch being very fast and mid-rangey. It's great. So let's listen. I'll turn on the catalyst again, and let's listen to each one of the amps on its own and then both together. So first, the Blues Junior. Blues Junior with no reverb. Just the Pro Junior. Both together. And now both together with the Blues Junior with reverb. It's great. It's great. I really, really love it. So I really like to use two amps for recording, especially if I'm recording small bands where there's not a lot of information going on. When there's not a keyboard player, when there's not a horn section or 3 guitar players. If there's only bass guitars and drums, I love to record 2 guitar amps. Sometimes to make it stereo, sometimes just to sum it and to give it a little more complex tone, but usually to spread both amps, one to the left, one to the right, and sum it so they can be not in the middle, so they are in different spaces. Another thing I really, really like to do to make them sound stereo, and I won't be hearing it in the room, but I hope it translates in audio, I'm using the AMAC mic pre, which is Rupert Neve design, very clean, very fat sounding mic pre, through the distressors, the Empirical Lab distressors, and I'm compressing the same with both amps. Although I'm using 2 different mics for each amp. I'm using the Biodynamic M160, my all-time favorite for guitar miking, on the Pro Junior, because it is very mid-rangey, so the Bior will tame it a little and will give it a little bottom end and tame the highs a little. And then I'm using a combination of 2 SM57s on the Blues Junior combined to one track, so just one mic pre. And this gives me a very different tone from each amp also. But a thing I really like to do is to change the compression amount while going to the mixing tape. It's not a thing you'll hear, and well, you will hear it, but it's not a thing you hear in the room, but you will hear it in the recording. So if one amp has a different release from the other amp, it will mean it will be kind of bumping in different ways. So I will set the Pro Junior a little more slow release, so you'll hear the difference. This is how it sounds normal. Let me turn on a different pedal, Priest of Tone. Now change the release, so it was on 2 on the distressor, now it will be on 8. Okay, let me set it back to 2, and again, same release. I hope it translates because I'm not hearing it, but I think I'm almost positive, sure, it will translate in a different way. So usually I even use this technique to record the same amp, the same speaker with 2 different mics, well, with 2, not 4, with 2 different mics, and then I compress differently each mic and spread them left and right, and it's a stereo image, very stereo, which is cool, just because of the different release. That's exactly why I love to use different speaker sizes when combining amps, because different speakers react differently in different time values. So if you imagine a huge speaker like a 15, for example, it's a very big membrane, so the speaker has to move forward and backwards. It has to push air and suck air, okay? So you can actually, I think, easily understand that a big membrane like a 15-inch will take longer to push and to return to the original position than a smaller speaker, because it's smaller, so it's faster, okay? So if a 15-inch takes longer, it will be a little softer, a little more compressed. The 10-inch speaker will be faster and a little punchier. So you have the punch, the pick attack, the initial transient given to you by the 10-inch speaker, and then all the compression, all the smoothness given to you by a 15-inch. That's why my favorite stereo setup or 2-amp setup is my Supros, the Tremo Verb and the Thunderbolt, because they are 10-inch, 15-inch, they have a beautiful compression. I love the compression in the Supros. And they are immediately stereo sounding. That's also why a lot of people like 410 cabinets or 410 amps, like the Super Reverb, the Basement, or my dear Lone Star cabinet with 410s, because they are the 4 10-inch speakers are very pushing, very punchy, but very bassy because of the comp filtering. Since you have 4 different speakers playing at the same time, you annul the high end a little bit and you reinforce the bass. But different thing for a different episode. That's also a great pairing. The Basement with the Super Reverb, for example. It's a great pairing. Or the Twin Reverb and the Basement. For another show. So let's dive in to some stereo sounds so you can hear it in stereo too. You heard the slow Leslie. It's lovely, it's lovely. The spring reverb, let's turn off the spring reverb on the Blues Junior and turn on the spring reverb on the Line 6 M5. Let's hear the Hall reverb, which is a huge reverb. Of course, the swell delay, the auto volume delay. This will benefit a lot from the Blues Junior reverb, so with the Blues Junior reverb. Okay, let's set up. Let's set up because I'm splitting the signal at the very end of my pedals on the M5. So the M5 is what is stereo doing. Let's set a delay on the M5. The delay is called analog with modulation, which is kind of the memory man. And the other great thing I like to do, if you have been following the show, is to use a little distortion. So I'll use the Prince of Tone for a little gain. But I will set the Blues Junior to overdrive more than the Pro Junior. Okay, so they're set. So the Blues Junior is overdriving a little more than the Pro Junior. Let's hear both amps on their own. So just the Blues Junior. Just the Pro Junior. And now both together. So immediately you hear a difference in sustain, and you still can hear the punchiness of the Pro Junior, but you're hearing the sustain of the Blues Junior. So this is a great thing to do with amps. Even if I don't turn on the Prince of Tone, so regular. Strangely enough, the Blues Junior sounds louder in the room, but I'm looking to the meters and it is quieter because it's compressed, so it sounds more exciting. Well, that's it. I hope you have liked the show. I hope this has been helpful to you. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe the YouTube channel and share it with the world. I've just now created my reverb.com store. So it's called Dr. Guitar. It's a store where I sell some of the products I represent. So buying over there will help me with the channel and will help me with my life, because as anyone in the world, I need to make money to make a living. Guess what? And if you want some guitar lessons via Skype with me, I will be more than happy to do it. Just please send me a direct message via Facebook or Instagram, and we'll chat from there. We'll see each other next week. Bye-bye.